Mainly startups. Oops, we have sound coming through here. 1 second. Can you still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it through the wrong mic. I had an echo coming through, so okay, great. So number of years, helped CTOs build their teams from the top down. I worked with, and I gained the knowledge mainly because obviously from my startup, and I created a really great network of great people. So when COVID hit, and so it affected my business as well, just like everybody. And went from there to about a year and a half ago, I noticed things were taking a bit of a shift in the market. And I thought, well, let's see what else I can do. So I came up with an idea of just, can I get the AI to code, something for me, and have AI talk to AI about their users and match those interests, and just come to some kind of silly project at the time. And I told my partner at the time, I said, yeah, I think I'm going to do a dating site. And she was like, yeah, no, you're not. So I went from there and just started playing around and experimenting and got it to work. And, started working with ChatGPT. So I'll kind of go into that. This is my story here. So I was working with ChatGPT in the early days and noticed some memory issues as I kept feeding it more and more files and context, and eventually it just couldn't help me. And I had an engineer tell me that, hey, you got to try Cursor. So this was, I think, in September or something last year, something like that, or August. But he said Cursor can actually index your whole project and your whole code base, and it will look through all of your files and try to find the best solution. And you're able to choose the model that you want to work with. And so I dived into Cursor and never looked back, to be honest. It was a game changer. Able to really code at the speed of thought, at that point. So I started with Claude, I think it was 3.2 at the time. And I noticed also working with ChatGPT wasn't giving me the best results, so I just stuck with Claude. And, I built MySALT AI, what is now MySALT AI. So what is vibe coding? It was coined by Andre Kaparthi, and it was a tweet where he said, hey, I'm doing this really cool thing called vibe coding, and or you can read the tweet if you can. And so Y Combinator, started talking about it, and that's when I'll play the video. It's pretty cool what they say here about vibe coding. Can you hear it okay? No, you can't. 1 second. Turn the sound on.
Woke up in the morning. I mean, our sense right now, this isn't a fad, this isn't going away. This is actually the dominant way to code. And if you're not doing it, you might just be left behind.
So I think there's some truth to that. Turn that off. Where I think if you don't get on board and you're an engineer, then there is a possibility, and I'm coming from also a tech headhunting side of things too, and what companies are getting interested in talent. Yeah, you don't keep up with the AI first coding, then you could potentially get left behind on this. So I know that there's a lot of sentiment on one side or the other, and there are there's skeptics out there, and that's understandable because this is a new paradigm shift, really, in development. So what are the benefits of vibe coding? It accelerates your prototyping and your dev, enables small teams, you can build fast, and it lowers the entry barrier for non-coders like myself. It's AI first development is basically what vibe coding is. And you're using AI as a paired programmer, with an engineer. So how AI first coding evolved, obviously it came from manual manual development can be very time consuming, and moved into working with AI models. ChatGPT, moved from ChatGPT into environment tools like Cursor, Windsurf, GitHub Copilot, Firebase Studio, and Lovable, and Make, I think is another one out there. I didn't list there. But one thing I would definitely just have caution about is using free programs, and if you have IP that you don't want, Google or somebody else to have, I wouldn't go with their free program, because they can use your code for training and other things that they see fit. Now it's called vibe coding. So it was AI first coding, and now it's called vibe coding. So Cursor, why Cursor? Cursor is the fastest growing SaaS in history to 100 million. That's pretty insane. It's a AI powered code editor. You can choose the AI model, and I'll show you how that works. And you can also have terminal and GitHub integration. The terminal use was a game changer for me too. I actually got to the point where I coded all of this on my local host, and I needed to get it to a server, and I did not know, how to do that. I mean, I understood, the big picture, but to actually get that to work, I was going to ask, some senior developers to help me out. When the terminal came as a new feature within Cursor, I could ask the AI to set up a server for me. It'll check the costs. It'll do cost comparisons for me. It was truly amazing, and it would even push to my GitHub, remote, and set up workflows, CI/CD pipeline, everything. So that was a huge game changer for me, and I can imagine that it was probably a big help for other non-coders that were using it. So it's designed for real-world dev flows. You'll see how it's set up. You have your files on your left side and your project. You put Markdown files, documentation in there, and then you'll have your chat on the right-hand side, and then in the middle is your editor. You can do unit tests and also work with MC, which is Model Context Protocol. And I haven't used this yet, so I'll be very honest about this. But I've heard some really great things about it, and I'm very excited to move some of my salts, like what I've worked with, into that direction, which standardizes the context from what I believe. Best practices: back up frequently. When Cursor first came out, it was crashing a lot, and so I would be working with the AI, and the AI would be, going through the code and doing its thing, and then all of a sudden it would crash. And guess what? I can't go back, so I have to do it all over. And so I learned to back up, and I was a bit old school on it. I actually created another file and backed everything up when I got the server. Use terminal access very carefully. Change your API keys if you're using terminal to set everything up. Yeah, set everything up, set up servers, set up, your DNS. Change your API keys. I mean, it's a given, but for those that don't know, it's very, very important. After writing your code, write unit tests to match your code, test your functions, and write up the rules and parameters for the AI to work in. And I'll show you where that is. But you can write up rules that the AI will see every single time that it's having a conversation with you, and then it can work within that context. Pitfalls to avoid. Yeah, I mean, if the AI is using your terminal, just make sure you change your API keys after setup, and then relying solely on AI to debug. I just wouldn't recommend that right now. Maybe in the future that will, that's a possibility, but I would like the inspector and working with some of the dev tools and being able to take and copy and paste and help the AI with that. And that actually has improved my development a lot. Security and privacy gaps unchecked. I recommend having a senior dev, senior engineer, working, especially if you're making this a consumer-facing product. Take a look, have them ask them, take a look at your code, review your code, just make sure that the most serious privacy issues or security gaps, because the AI can and will miss some things. So case study, MySALT AI. It's got 80,000 lines of code, full stack platform using Python on the back end, React front, Tailwind, MongoDB Atlas, GitHub, workflows I have on Docker. I have the front end on Azure, and I have the back end on DigitalOcean. I've built custom web scrapers for events and news, and also it's a multi-agent AI integration system. So I have like a parent AI at the top, and it's every time a user has a conversation with the AI, it's looking at the memory and the context of that particular conversation with the user. So it'll reference that every time I have the conversation. So it's always personalized to the user. The AI has its own email system. So it has its own email address. So for every user that signs up to MySALT AI, they get to name their AI, they get to choose their avatar, and then their AI has its own email address. And you can actually ask your AI within conversation, hey, send me a reminder to watch Oak Island or Curse of Oak Island or something. And, it'll send you a reminder to watch that tomorrow at 5 o'clock and by email with a right? And then tomorrow it'll send me another reminder automatically. Make sure I don't miss that. It also will see tasks. It'll have suggestions for me. So if it sees that I have something coming up, it'll say, hey, would you like to prepare for the meeting coming up? Have incoming and outgoing routes for the email addresses, and then have a chat system, APS, phone and video, a lot of flag features for future things that we want to develop. So it's a pretty hefty site, as you can see. I've been working on it for about 10 months, or I don't know, something like that. Live demo. So let's look at setting up rules. And what I wanted to do is actually generate a project, the beginning of a project with Cursor, and then also use the prompt for something like Lovable, and I'll show you the different results that you get there. So take a quick look at that. All right. So this is the prompt. This is the prompt that I'm using here. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to take, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in this demo build 3. It's a blank folder that I picked up first. So I'm literally just going to paste this in here. So you can see I've pre-planned it. So I'm using Claude 3.7 Sonnet, and it's in thinking mode. I have that using agent mode here. So I can actually, if you can see that better, I can use agent mode, I can use ask mode, and basically agent mode, just it can use the tools such as the terminal. Ask mode, I use the terminal or some of the other tools, but it will look through your code base still. It still does search through your code base. And I know people that are very successful in ask. Agent mode, it can find things of its own, which is what you have to watch out for, and stop button to stop it. And there's also you can decide it's added. Up here, you have your search. Search through your project files. Built in a second. Let's just do that right now. While that's going, you can add different source control, visualize your repos, and here you have different tools that you can import based on VS Studio. If you're used to using VS Studio, this is kind of a perfect upgrade for you with that. Um, so while Claude is in there, what's going to happen is Claude is going to build a directory and files over here, and then it will give me file editing area, and I will reject or accept those files. I always recommend obviously reading through those files before you accept them. But at first, when it's building it, you just let it build. I let it do its thing, and then I go through before I start looking. Obviously, I can't even fire it up yet, right? So what I do, get the front end and the back end working, and look at the code, and then see if I can fire it up. And I'll ask the AI, all right, how can I fire this up? you know, what file do I need to do and to run? So this is obviously non-coder. That's that point of view. You also have a terminal. You have terminal use down here if you want to just use a terminal. Yeah, I don't. I use the normal terminal usually when I work on it. All right. So while that's going, I'm going to take the same prompt and I'm going to take it over to Lovable. And if you haven't seen Lovable, Lovable is really interesting. It's a cloud-based solution, and a lot of people are really loving this site. Hence, use the pipe. But let's put that in here, and we're going to see what it develops. You can see the difference here. It takes some time for this to build. But what I do like about Lovable is I don't have to sit there and try to fire up my local host. I'm just doing a simple website or newsletters or those kind of things. You actually have a code viewer, areas code viewer, and also you have a preview of the UI. So we're gonna let that do its thing. You can see down here, it's working. And while that's going, let's go back over here. Okay, so we've got something. So it's setting up the virtual environment. All right, that's what this is. Just going to try with Python 3. You see here the files start building. Now let's activate the virtual environment. And in dependencies, I mean, it's just incredible kind of how the things it's doing. Now it's going to create a file. All right. So I'm going to show this a little bit better. So you can see here that there's routes that it's set up. I'm good with that. I'll look at that. And this is the auth route, so it's authentication. This is all back end right now. You see here where it's creating the files within the directories. So what I'm building is I wanted to build just a simple site that takes YouTube videos, like up to, and it has search capability. And I am actually using the API for what I built. This 2 days ago. It took me a couple hours, so I won't go through the whole thing with you on this, but it just shows you, what you can do with the AI and how it works. Okay, what I'll show you is a finished product of what I built. So while that's doing its thing, I'm going to go back over to Lovable. Still working.
generating the code, put it in there. Is it up to you to ask the software, the program, what you want in?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll actually show you. So you can ask it which, it'll work in Python, Swift, work in whatever language. Now, I think that it's probably going to be others. I think maybe the history of some of these that have been out, for so long. I've heard that it's really amazing at like Ruby, it's really great at Python. But you have found to select language mode, so I can actually go up and choose which language I want to work in. Okay, usually automatic which language that you're in. Uh, what I will do when I'm building a project is I will ask it to the pros and cons of working in a language for a particular project. So, if you're running something scalable, or I mean, it all kind of depends on really if you're looking to build just a prototype of something and you just want HTML and Java something to work, or if you're actually looking to go full blown React and that. Um, so yeah, I do ask it for like pros and cons, and then over here you can actually ask it to develop you can ask it your and also it can create your API documentation. So what I've done is I've asked it to go through my whole project, create API documentation. It then uses that for referencing as well to help cut down some of the time of development. All right, so you see here, but I can ask it to language if I want to. I mean, you think LLM is conversational, right? So you're going to see that a lot of this is not really these long, drawn out prompts that I'm creating, get the AI to do what I want to do. It can literally be a copy and paste from the error. For instance, if you're debugging, you put it in there and just say fix it, and it knows what to do. It'll figure it out for sure. That's still going. Let's see what level I'm done. Okay, so good. Oh, let's see. Oops. If anybody knows Supabase, you can connect Supabase up to Lovable for your backend. Actually, I'm not working with it as much, but there's some coders that are working with that. Okay. So I've got the code view. So what's really interesting is that this actually didn't build me a home page. It strictly built in and start. And I'll show you what the cursor built me before. This is what the cursor built me. So it built me a whole front page with the exact same prompt. What I did so it has a search that actually, and it didn't immediately do the login. It had it up here, so it didn't use preference on that. But it's cool and it works. I can read it, rating submitted. So that just goes to show you that the same prompt can give you a couple different outputs depending on what product you're using. See, obviously, I'm not going to fire this up right now because it might take. It's still going, but you can see over here build a whole project. All right. Let me just share with you MySALT AI if that's okay. So this is the inside of MySALT AI. We have requests. AI connect requests are basically you're sending a connection request to a user, but the difference is that your AI and their AI have a conversation, and then what happens is the receiver of the AI connect inbox message saying, "Hey, this person's interested in connecting with you. Here's the conversation." And this is from your AI information. There's different safety ratings based on how long they've been on the platform, and are there mutual friends and interests and things like that. So people like and they can't get it's well, but it's a little bit hard. And it's a big problem. There's 700 million, uh, every year that is initiated online in social networks. Problem. You have events in here and news that is local, your national, world, and we have an AI summary that shows up there as well that will show up about the article. Read the news, and then it'll bring it back and re-summarize that as kind of like, but it will always still give the original source of the news. Here we have, it's just to show you kind of the types of features that are built. So here we have like connections, and then you have chat, and then we have an invite system. So MySALT's an invite only system. And so everybody that you invite automatically become connected to you. So, and also kind of like Tom from MySpace, everybody gets connected to me too. So if you remember, that dates me a little bit. We have notifications, and here I can talk to Andre. I named, so yeah, I'm name here is Chase. The way that works is, see if I had it here. I was going to show you the sign up, and what happens is you go and you sign up, and you have to have a must have got out of it, but so yeah, you go through, sign up, and what happens is, so you'll add a code. You'll just go through the normal sign up here, username, password, address, all the stuff, date of birth. And we do this because we need this information to give the AI, real personal experience. So gender, city, interest, and then your status is like looking for networking or friends. Title, and then here you get to choose your avatar. You choose through, there's like 20 different ones. Name it. You name your AI there. And basically, as soon as you get the magic link, oops. I'm going to show you the reminder system real quick. So, use the UI. I'm working on a new kind of UI, but send me you at 5 p.m. I can set a reminder for you to pick up the kids, and then I'll say yes. Okay. I should receive an email from Jake. There it is, AI Jake. And so pick up the kids tomorrow. And I'll also get an automatic reminder tomorrow. So, and then you can do the same thing with setting up a meeting. So that's MySALT AI, and that's what we're building, and we're basically trying to help begin to build trust in humans. And Well, so I'm David, and Jake is my AI that I named. Yeah, and then Chase is just a fake account that I can use, and that's actually up and working on the regular MySALT AI. Yeah. Oh, I'm the creator of it, so I can create whatever accounts. But yeah, so I did this mainly for display, kind of purposes, really. But it's just to show you how easy it is to make an account and how easy it is within a couple of clicks you have your own AI. Really. So, but we have a wait list at the moment, so I'm asking that if you're interested, sign up to the wait list, and we have about 5 more features maybe to finish. And then we'll be launching. And eventually, what we want to do is, I'll give you a little sneak peek. Uh, Eventually, take this to where we have a like a humanoid marketplace, and so you'll be able to bring your AI to life to a humanoid. And we've been talking to different humanoid manufacturers. So the idea is that you'll be able to transfer your AI after you purchase it, and then you can transfer your humanoid. Where we're going with it. All right, let's get back to the vibe coding. Let's see. All right. So prompt examples. And if you want a copy of this deck, I'm happy to just send me an email, David at Baird, and I'll be. There's to develop a new project. Definitely give it a story form of what you're trying to do, and something that's conversational, but also exactly right. So, on this port and this language, if you want, or you could say, hey, tell me exactly like what are other companies within this industry using for their stack, for their tech stack, and that will help guide you in a great direction towards setting up a good architecture. Did you have a question? Oh, okay. So you can ask things like, help me set up my local environment, tell it what port you want to run, all of that. And I know it's very simple. Pros and cons, one technology over another, and setting up remote GitHub servers, all of it. This is a real project that I used to set up the, shows the picture, the user details, and all of that. So this was what I started with. One thing that I like to do is say minimal changes only. That way, and focus. So that way, so all of those things you try to combine into one prompt. Sometimes, especially if it's complicated, and the AI can be lazy. So tell it that it's being lazy and call it out. And that's where I'm going there. The AI will quit on you for some reason. It'll just, while it's building everything, it'll just stop mid and see if it's back on track. What's that? Yeah, exactly. Definitely takes coffee breaks. It's weird because sometimes you're just not getting hardly any output out of it. And all of a sudden, it kicks right in. You're off to the race. It will try to give duplicate code. Hopefully, as AI progresses, that'll stop. I don't know, but always watch out. And could ignore some requests and work on its own. So that's what the button is for. Uh, So, like I said, the coding, it can do documentation, README. You can use it for all of these different things, automate, deploy pipeline, AI to a separate project. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm doing a 2-day AI first workshop for companies and setting that up for having and help integrate kind of a deeper dive into Cursor. Also, I'm setting up a vibe coding app on WhatsApp for founders and users. So it's an exclusive WhatsApp group, one-on-one access. Trying to build an exclusive community there to can help each other out, and also tips and tricks too, because I mean, I just found out today that Cursor, I don't know if you've heard of the cyber squatting that's happening with some of the MPMs, but you're with MPMs and how to build, you got to be really careful with it, that because the AI could potentially grab an MPM that's actually, so you got to just be aware. There was just something that just happened. Let me see. It's a node like NPM. Sorry. Yeah. Here I can find that. Oh, I think when my screen closed, I'll show you real quick. So it's something to be aware of. It was malicious, and this happened just a couple of days. So these are the kind of things I would put into the chat just to let everybody know. I have advisors and know about this stuff too. So let's say that's about it, really. And then we'll open it up for Q&A. If you are interested in any of the things we talked about, let's see here. Vibe coding. So what I'm going to actually add this to the, and so if anybody, then you can take a look to see what you want to do, and once you pay the fee, then it'll super easy. Other than that, does anybody have any questions? Yeah. Oh yeah. Windsurf is one. OpenAI just acquired Windsurf, what I understand. I've not used Windsurf, to be very honest. I've stuck with Windsurf. But yeah, there's Windsurf, there's Firebase Studio. Firebase Studio, I would just be careful of because of their terms and conditions. And using the version, you pretty much do whatever they want with your code. Supabase is like a backend. Yeah, well, Supabase is something that you can connect to the other one, like the backend server. And I've not used it as much. I've used more of the traditional servers, but I understand it, the authentication and everything for you. Okay. Thanks for that. Yeah, it's funny. There's so many tools coming out every day, and it's hard to keep up, especially when you're kind of stuck in a project. So Cursor has its internal Git, and then I use GitHub for yeah. I mean, basically, I've set up, the AI we set up pipelines that will do auto when I send to GitHub. So as soon as I push it to GitHub, and obviously I'm not big enough to have like the production and all of that. But yeah, it just goes straight to the site, and that's the version control that I have. So I probably should have better version control right now too. Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts? So within Cursor, I don't think. Well, I mean, there might be a plugin that I haven't seen yet. I know some other people have used it. I actually. I could be wrong, but yeah,
All of the, like, Windows and Mac, so I'm not trying to,
yeah.
Windows and Mac have their own voice dictation.
Oh, so I could just
And simply as long as the cursor, your text cursor inside of that field, it'll.
see. I need to do that.
It's so much faster.
You know, I found what's difficult is like when you're building something that you're just so kind of immersed in. It is kind of hard sometimes to keep up with. But that's awesome. I'm gonna actually use that. Perfect. Yeah. Any other questions? Or security features? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so there are some programs out there. I think I just saw a couple. One of them was, I don't know if it was something. I think even some of the MCPs I think, that are being built have some security ones or something. So I personally just get senior here to make sure that I'm sure at some point the AI will. You know, I think what will happen is the big boys like AWS, Azure, they're going to before you even send it to for deployment, they're going to. I mean, that, that to me would be a great play. Yeah, 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 that's possible. I mean, I before I don't know if you've used Scout or not, but so Scout will go through your all of your code and it will take a look and it'll show you what is critical to fix any security gaps. That's actually that has helped me for sure. Yeah, Docker, obviously, probably other tools like the Copilot too. That area is grow, you know, that area. Until then, I'm happy to have someone look at it. So,
One of the things that no. I mean, it's like somebody building a house and, hey, wait, there's no bathroom.
right,
Yeah, it's the same way. No,
right.
I think that's a lot.
I mean, it might assume things like so. If you say, "Hey, I'm doing this for development," it will probably add in production. Right? So that I've experienced. I've had to tell the AI, "This is for production. Check all the security gaps. Make sure memory leak, all of this." And so if you ask the AI to do those things, it will do it. Now, how well it does it. I mean, that's why I to take a look at it. So, all right. Well, if there's no more questions, then feel free to, link up to me. My, there's my contact details there. Please join the waitlist if you're open to it and you're interested. Definitely have some growth that we're doing right now, and we've had lately. So, and I'll help out with. And then if you're interested in the Vibe Coding Hub, that's going to be a really great place where I'm going. A lot of, I'll have that up tonight. What I'll do is I'll send a message out, or if you're part of the Detroit Vibe Coding group, I'll send a message. Please, I literally built that today. Okay.
Well, David, is again, so I'm going to do these things and hang out and chat. Talk to David.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've built things like recently. I wanted the AI to be the script, so I'm using deep as the conversation wrapper and using Comfy UI for images and video. If you're familiar with all of its open source, and she would do the script. It would choose the topic, do the script. I would use 11 Labs for the voice, and then it would get images to the script and create it. So I thought, well, if I could get one on a day and put it on YouTube, why not?
Right. Even if you show like the
Oh, let me show you. Yeah, you know what? I lost that one.
these are a lot of rules, right? There's some, you do a chat or support. And there are a bunch of free, it's about that you can go, and obviously, I mean, I don't talk to it directly, right? I think that they definitely curate it. And so you can go. Yeah.
Right here. Yeah, right here.
So, and these are prompts actually feed in your rules. So let's say I'm going to type one. There's actually a phrases you're not buying a on your system from. So that's a good place. This convex, like there's good things about it. Again, I haven't tried it, but this is back in better, let's call it practices. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on this cursor map. But they can have look at the rules, but I think they're going to mention that. So,
They do also have, I noticed after I was told about MCPs, they do have MCPs here too, featured one. And
okay.
it's the next step up from tools, right?
Yeah,
So it's like layered.
It's APIs for AI. I think that's going to be the subject next month after the meetup. David's media.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Speaking, I think that's a hot subject, and really, as you know, yeah, maybe RESTful. Maybe we didn't get it perfect, right? But I think all of this standard the design of our tools are right. Our own activity server or one. So is everybody in the art interested in that next month? Is that something that would be interested for him?
Definitely.
We get enough now, I think that's most. And David, appreciate that I don't because I'm going to the trade. Brand new group 37 minutes ago. I immediately like meetings that I get from people very responsibly, and there are a whole bunch of resources too. In addition to this talk, I can look some of those in the and I said, man, we gotta reach out to this guy. It was like do something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be back here, back over here, so I appreciate your.
No, awesome.
On it.
Absolutely. And the other thing too is that we have a so the first. I don't know if you know the founders first. Yeah. So after the first founders, or it's founders first Friday. So founders first, at 10 o'clock at Bamboo. We're just doing a work. So it's a collaborative work session project. If you're interested in help or you just started, we're gonna hold that every month there too.
What's that? What time of the
It's
day?
10 a.m.
Oh, so it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll be coming over there.
Yeah. It'll be 10 a.m. It's an hour, but it's a way we can get together and talk about new things and. So if you join the Detroit Vibe Coders group, then it's listed on there as one of.
That's as well. You'll be talking about stuff, vibe coding stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, No, I mean they're promoting it, but it's just after.
Got
Yeah, it's just
it.
after. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been doing it was AI first coding or whatever you wanted to call it at that time, and Vibe coding came out not too long ago. I just thought, am I going to own this thing and actually like do this, or am I going to shy away from it? So I decided to own and keep going forward. So,
You own it, feel some ownership in it, because the reality is I've been coding for a long time, and I totally understand the person. I've done like functions and reference station, right? And you change that, and it don't be the app I wanted in class. So it's, oh, you want? I love that. Chat CDN, like always, chat. So, one of the other tips in I like to say, extreme code generation, we need to practice extreme version control. So that's what I like to Replit, and I'm looking cursor to some of the other where just it'll commit, it'll build your script to a message, and then you can always roll that back to the version. I kind of want that to flow with the station to it, the cursor and the flow.
yeah.
And it's just, I want, you need to be able to roll back because it does. You have 50 features and iteration. It's amazing. And then you're like, wait, you're the button go on that to do it. Wow. It's ease because it's complex. So the other thing you mentioned, you can create markdown. AI works really well with markdown. And you can put what I would call it markdown in projects. With like that's all going to be vectorized, embedded. You can guide with markdown. Right? So it can be and you wouldn't necessarily put it in comments. Kind of the for AI and yes.
Yeah, there is another. Somebody was telling me about Make. Have anybody heard of Make.com? Is it .com or?
Well,
Yeah, it's I've heard it's like Lovable or something like that. But what they do is they have all the APIs that you can choose from. The only thing I'm not sure about, what I like about it is I like to own my APIs. Like I like to own the keys, the secrets, stuff like that. And it doesn't do that. Like Make is accountable for that. So that's something to look out for when these kind of new tools and platforms are coming out.
yeah, there's like making live. I really use Make much. I use NAM in many ways for that. That's another one where you absolutely own, to your point, David. You own your API. You set up those credits. If you go off, so I go through the next process rather than lock into whatever it's.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Music before the big pandemic, people would do it and say, I'm looking to hire somebody. Think I look full time. Okay. So those folks are looking for work, they're looking for people, and is anyone looking to hire anybody? So, all right, I did farming. That is good. That is good. Yeah, I remember the Linux users were doing that. Yeah.
Usually I have a lot of developer roles, but right now it's
Oh, David, did you tell them?
yeah, so that was a pain point for me. That's why I started. We as Baird Tech, we were developing for companies and clients, and one of the pain points I experienced was ghosting by developers, and they get you to a certain point in the project, and then I don't know, for whatever reason they're sick for about 6 weeks or something. That is what kind of pushed me into the direction of, wait a minute, I need to have some kind of control over what I'm doing, versus I don't want the client upset at me or anything. So so that's what led me into it, really. Yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, unfortunately. But, you know what? I mean, it's obviously it's understandable. I mean, that's potentially, I suppose, part of that. But I think the other thing is, especially when you're working with freelance, and it's understandable. I mean, you want to take as many projects on as you can, and you want to understandably make as much money as you can too. Right? I mean, that's the whole point of it. But I think there comes a point where I've had a lot of coders or developers unfortunately get burnt out, because they're saying that they're sick and things like that, and didn't realize that they had 4 other projects going. So the issue with what I was experiencing, and we paid them at a fair rate. It just became a challenge.
I've mostly seen English just web-based development.
Yeah.
Do you have any knowledge of how AI first does with technology?
Yes, I actually just built a ride-sharing prototype on Swift and iOS. I can show it to you if you want to see it real. Uh, find it. It's tough.